Hey guys, so today we're going to look at how to factor trinomials when a equals 1. And what I mean by that is something that looks like what we have right here, x squared plus 7x plus 10. So we're talking about three terms. There's three terms here, and we call that a trinomial. If you'll remember, we've talked about that before in class, okay? So let's get us some steps here first to talk about how to factor trinomials. So I want you to highlight and notice that we're talking about factoring trinomials when a equals 1, okay? And I'm going to explain what that a means right here, okay? So we're talking about when a equals 1, and what I mean by that is they have to be in this form: ax squared plus bx plus c form. Okay? So the a that we're talking about, this a right here, is this a that we're talking about right here. So if I were to look down here at this problem, my a here, since nothing is there, remember, if there's nothing in front of a variable, then we say that that number is 1. That's the number 1. So this has a of 1. This one does. This one does not. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, okay? So must be in the form ax squared plus bx plus c, where a equals 1. Then we're going to set up something, our step 2, we're going to set up something called a diamond. And I've kind of given you a picture of it down here of what that diamond method looks like. So if you need to, kind of highlight this diamond method and know that we're talking about this right here. Okay? Talking about that. Okay, so you're going to set up a diamond where a times c, that's what that means, that you're multiplying here. So let's write multiply. A times C. This is the A I'm talking about here that I've highlighted with yellow. And we'll highlight the C with a pink. So I'm talking about AC, okay? So if you need to, come down here. This is your A. I've already put green over that. And this is your C, okay? AC. That goes in the top. And in the bottom, you put B, okay? So our B goes in the bottom. And we're trying to add to get that bottom number. So let's go ahead and write add here. Okay? And that's what this next line says. Find two numbers that multiply to give you AC and add to give you B. That multiply to give you AC and add to give you B. And then you're going to use the box method. And I'm going to show you what that means to find the factors. Now, our goal here, so let's talk about what the goal is. The goal is to come up with what I multiply to get this. So if you'll remember, let's just talk for a second up here. An example might be if I were to say x plus 3 times x minus 2. Now we've been doing that. X times x is x squared. X times negative 2 is negative 2x. X times 3 is 3x. 3 times negative 2 is 6. Then we combine the like terms here. So we got x squared plus x minus 6. So this was what we came up with. We were doing this last week, okay? When you multiply, you get this. And what we multiplied was x plus 3 times x minus 2. So last week, we went from this to this, okay? What we're looking at doing this week is the reverse of that. They're going to give us this, and we want to come up with this over here, okay? So we're kind of going in reverse as to what we've been doing, okay? Switching it up a little bit. All right. Now, let's go down here and let's explain what I mean here. So let's just, for a minute, let's see if we can come up with this. Who am I? I multiply to be 12 and add to be 8. So if I'm looking at this right here and I want to talk about what goes here, remember I multiply to get the top. So I multiply to be 12 and I add to be 8. So you're trying to come up with two things that will multiply to give you 12 and add up to 8. Usually what I tell students to do is just start at 1. Okay, 1 times 12 is 12, but 12 plus 1 is 13. That doesn't work. Okay, let's go to 2. 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 plus 6 is 8. Hey, that works. So 2 and 6 work here. So I come down here and I say I am 2 and 6. Okay, let's try another one. I multiply to be negative 32. So remember that negative 32 goes in the top. I multiply to be negative 32 and add to be 4. Now, if you multiply to get a negative number, that means one of these is positive and one of them is negative, because positive times negative gives you a negative. Okay? Now I'm coming up with two things that'll multiply to give me negative 32. So let's start with 1. 1 and 32. Now, with this being a plus and a minus, that means I'm going to have to subtract these to come up with this number. 32 minus 1 is not 4, so that doesn't work. Let's go to 2. 2 and 16. 16 minus 2 is 14, so that doesn't work. All right, 3 doesn't go into 32, but 4 does. 4 times 8. 8 minus 4 is 4, so that one works. This one checks. That works. But now I got to figure out my sign. I need a positive 4, so that means my bigger number needs to be positive. So it's a positive 8 and a negative 4 that works. So over here, we're going to put 8 and negative 4. Now we're going to practice those as we continue. If you have questions, let me know.